All right, guys, welcome back to the Camaro build. I'm going to be doing a intake manifold, throttle body, and a couple other little things to the car. This is going to be before I do an engine build or, nitrous or whatever I'm going to do down the line. So this is going to be the last sort of round of mods before I get it tuned. And then hopefully sooner than later we can get the engine built and go from there. But I'm doing the intake manifold right now, and I already took off the throttle body. There's just 4 bolts holding it on. And then this clip right here, I didn't really understand how to take it off, but you kind of have to move the gray part up and down and then pull it straight off. And then I just undid some wiring here. I have a few bolts off up top. I'm still trying to figure out how to get this all the way off, but I'm going to show you guys how to do the injector clips right here because they're a pain in the butt. So we'll get that. All right, so take your pick here and push all the way in the center green piece. And then you're going to pick up on the bottom of the green tab. And then after that, take your pick and press the bigger gray piece here, and then you can pull it right out. All right, so I got the fuel lines out here. There was 4 stud bolts right here, or whatever these are called, and then 2 nuts on top of them. And the injectors just pull straight out. They're not like clipped in there or anything. I did have to undo this bracket way back there and twist it to the side in order to get the driver's side of the fuel rail out, but the passenger side didn't have one, so I was all good with that. And now we'll take off the rest of the bolts and get the intake manifold all the way out. Okay, here's a quick update for the install. So I installed the 2 bungs here for the vacuum hoses. The bigger one goes on the left and the smaller one goes on the right. I'm sure this is the map sensor. This wiring harness needs to be extended. So I'm gonna have to do some, soldering and messing around with that to get it to fit. And it's still gonna be the wrong way. The end of it's gonna face out here and the wires are gonna come around. So I don't really know why Fast made this to fit a 5th gen Camaro when it doesn't really fit a 5th gen Camaro, but you know what, that's all right. We'll work with what we got here. Supposedly it makes great power, so I'm gonna be excited to see what it runs on the dyno the next couple weeks. But I'm gonna get this thing installed and we'll see what it looks like. Real quick, I forgot to mention this bung here actually had to be cut off and drilled out for it to fit. That's another thing. I don't really understand why this was made for a 5th gen Camaro, but I guess this intake manifold is made for other cars that have that specific line there. So yeah, I just zipped that off and I drilled out the hole there with a 1/2-inch drill bit. I would recommend stepping your way up because it's like a really small hole. I think it's, I don't know, like a 1/4 inch. So if you go right from the 1/4 inch to the 1/2 inch, it puts a lot of stress on the plastic around the hole. So just step up your drill bits and, go from a 1/4 inch. Even if you do like 1/4, then 3/8, and then a 1/2 inch, that's better than doing 1/4 to the 1/2 inch. But yeah, so I drilled that out and blew out the intake real good so there's no plastic debris in there. And yeah, that's all I wanted to touch on. So I don't know if I went over this, but I have a BBK 102mm throttle body. This particular design lets you use your factory motor for the throttle body, so it just bolts right on there. And it looks pretty good. I didn't do this swap of motors. My buddy did it. I'm sure it's self-explanatory. He didn't say he had any trouble or anything. He said he put some grease on the gears there, and this thing looks good to go. Okay, so here's a post-install update on the manifold. I did try and put the 102mm throttle body on here, and the car would not run. It was going into limp mode. It was having a bunch of problems. So I put the 90mm factory throttle body back on there, and I'm gonna swap it out. I'm gonna swap to the bigger throttle body whenever the car's at the tuner, and we can get a different map on there, and we'll be all set for that. But the car runs great with just the intake manifold on. I didn't record putting everything back together because I was on a time constraint, but everything fit nicely. It was actually not that bad putting it all back together, once you modify the intake. And I like the look of it too. It's not like my favorite. I would like the sort of red R there in the LSXR to be white, or I guess silver. But it's not a big deal. I can always paint it. I also put on my new coil pack wires, and my spark plug wires. So those are brand new. And I want to get this thing out of the way so I can clean up the bay a little bit. Also, you know, tie some stuff back so it doesn't look so crowded. But like I said, I was on sort of a time constraint. I'm actually going to the tuner in 3-4 days. 4 days I'm going to be there, so I'm going to make sure to record as much as I can on that and put a video out while I'm there. I'm going to Race Proven Motorsports. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of them. You know, if you're in the Corvette Camaro scene, they do CTSVs, you know, all kinds of LS engines. So I'm going to be getting the car tuned there. They said 10:30 in the morning I got to be up there. So I got to leave the house at about 2:30 in the morning, pick up a couple buddies, and then we're going to be heading up there, get the car dynoed, and we'll be back before dinner time. So that'll be a great day. But yeah, other than that, I think that's all I got for you. I'm going to give a, you know, post-tune update, obviously, and we'll go from there. Thank you guys for watching.